In other news that things you need to know about right now, there's an article going around that there are chances that FTR will possibly make the jump back to WWE or the independent circuit. So FTR is considering leaving AEW once the time comes for their contracts to expire, and they're looking to keep their options open, right? They've been pretty vocal, I think, about not being happy with the way AEW is booking them. They haven't gotten an opportunity at the AEW Tag Team Championship. They've been Ring of Honor champions, but like I said, that's kind of bullshit at this point, right? The Ring of Honor is just secondary titles to AEW. You could try to sway me all you want on this thought that like Ring of Honor is a separate thing, but it's literally just it's like the bastard cousins of the AEW titles. So the belief is that FTR's contracts are up around April, and from everything I'm reading, FTR is truly considering their options, including a possible return back to WWE, and why not, right? Triple H is there. But here's the deal. This is something I'm going to take hate for, and I don't care because I'm going to speak honestly. But here's the deal. I've never really understood the hype around FTR. Like, what makes them so special? What makes the IWC just lose their shit every time that FTR wrestles? What am I missing here, guys? You guys are gonna have to let me know, like in the comments of this video, what am I missing? Because when I look at FTR, and I'm looking at it from a casual fan's perspective. Remember this, but when I look at FTR, I see a lack of character, and character is highly important to me, and I see a lack of size, and size is highly important to me. These guys are both 5'10". They're kind of built like potatoes, and I haven't seen them cut a single promo that's ever made me go, oh, damn, these guys can talk on a microphone. Like, they're literally, they're the meat and potato boys. They're good and they're solid, but I can't figure out why IWC fans will literally tell me when I talk about the Usos being the best tag team in wrestling currently, FTR is always a name I get thrown in my face, and I went back and watched matches. I can't understand it. Like, I get it. They're good. They're good, and they're extremely good at putting the baby faces in a position to look good. But, like, that's not interesting to me. Like, I don't think you can be considered the best if what you're best at is making the other team look great. Now, that's a great skill to have. I think that it keeps you in a company long term if you want. But I don't know that you can be labeled as the best to do it if that's kind of your main attribute, right? And it's hard for me to get invested overall in FTR when, like, that is the thing that people always point to when they tell me why I should like FTR. They're old school wrestling and they know how to put the baby faces over. I mean, because there has to be a reason that they ping pong from promotion to promotion, right? It's got to be. They're just. Like, for as good as the internet says they are they really selling tickets? Are they really, like, are people really going to a show just to see FTR? And I'm talking about, when I say people, I'm not talking about hardcore wrestling fans. Hardcore wrestling fans show up for hardcore wrestling shit, but they're not the mass audience. I'm talking about the casual wrestling audience. And so I know the history. I know the history with, like, they had a solid NXT run under Triple H. And I know that Vince McMahon kind of booked them into some weird positions. And, like, he had, like, some humiliating videos of them shaving each other's backs and rubbing icy hot on each other. So I get, like, they've been put in some weird spots. But I truly think that, like, shit like that was Vince McMahon just trying to inject personality into them. Because, like, everything I've seen, they're just kind of bleh. FTR is just kind of bleh. They're plain. They're the potato boys. What do you guys love about them? And I read an article where they said they wanted to leave WWE on the upswing, which absolutely makes no sense to me. Because if you're on the upswing and you're calling yourself the greatest tag team, and you think that the WWE tag team division is lacking and is underappreciated, then why not be so damn good at what you do that you force people to pay attention? Why pack your bags and leave? And why don't they get flack for this like everybody else does when they pack their bags and go? I get that they don't make a big stink about it, but they're still literally doing the same thing as some people who take a lot of shit for packing their bags up and leaving and going to another company. Now, my question here is if FTR returns to WWE, are they going to return as the Revival, or do they get to keep the FTR name? And I thought it was interesting. I didn't know what FTR stood for. So anybody else who doesn't know what it stands for Forever the Revival. So I didn't realize that it was just, a play on the original name. If I'm a betting man, I think the odds are that they return to WWE. I think under Triple H, it sounds to me like Triple H is the most qualified to know how to use FTR. And so, their height of their kind of apex of their run as a tag team was under Triple H and NXT. So I think the odds would be good. I could see them going the indie route, but man, going back to WWE under Triple H is probably a godsend for those guys. And I get it. Like, I understand there's different flavors of wrestling for every type of fan. I understand. Like, my flavor of wrestling isn't for everybody, what I enjoy. But like FTR is just one of those fucking flavors that I do not understand it whatsoever.